Okay, everyone, Kerry Daigle. This is week one of our 8-week mentoring course on edge theory and social media. The first thing, first order of business I want to give all of you is that we like you to set notifications on We Are Contagious, the Facebook page. You just go, there's a link there where you can click. And the reason you want notifications is that every time there's a new post or something, you're going to get it right away. Because I'm getting numerous texts and calls from a lot of your organizations that are asking, what's the number, what's this, what's that? All that information is being listed on We Are Contagious. The second thing is to get as many of your team members as you can on the Keeppunching Business Update call. Now, a lot of you that are fairly new and maybe you joined and you don't know the whole story, I want to be able to share this with you. A lot of you had a chance to meet James and meet Joe. Well, James, without a question, he's the ultimate teacher. He's the professor. He's the guy that goes out and he teaches a lot about social media and the soundboard and what edge theory is all about to people all over the world. We've had James on the phone with people from Australia and New Zealand and across Canada and the United States and Europe, and he's just nonstop busy. So I know we've made certain offers to some of you team leaders out there, national marketing directors, to have a private meeting if you can put together a large group of people, and we'll be happy to do that for you through Edge Theory. But we have to have a good group of people, at least 20 people in your organization that want to get some private lessons. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Joe. A lot of you don't know Joe that well. I had the opportunity to visit with him yesterday for about 5 hours in Mississippi and got a chance to see what the edge theory was all about. Also got a chance to see what Joe and his business partners all about and what the company Edge Theory is all about. Joe is the president, he's the founder, and he's the CEO of Edge Theory, which is the company behind Soundboard. His business partner, listen to this, I always believe that if you want to be highly successful, you go to the top. You go to the very best in their field, and that's who you learn from. In other words, in a lot of my trainings, you hear, if you want to make $100,000 a year, you cannot have a distributor making $25,000 teaching you how to do it. And yet many of us go out and we seek out these people to teach us how to build a business, and they don't have a Juice Plus organization. How are they going to teach you? They can't. So you have to be able to reach out to people that have reached that top, have developed a team, and ask them the questions. Same in the business world. When it comes to reaching out, when it comes to social media, I wanted to be certain that Mickey and I would choose the right people we could to be able to put a package like this together and not charge anybody anything. Now, Joe's one of his board members, listen to this, found this, I'm sitting there and the phone's ringing and his phone's going off, and there's a guy named Jim Barksdale is sending a message. Again, Jim Barksdale, who sits on the board of directors of Edge Theory, had 3 successful startup companies, including FedEx, AT&T Wireless, and Netscape, which he sold to Google. Now, in addition to being on the board of Edge Theory, Jim is also on the board has been on the board of FedEx for 43 years, and listen to this, he's on the board of Time Warner. These are the people that we're associating ourselves with. Jim Barksdale, just check him out. He's a billionaire, not a multimillionaire, a billionaire. And he's one of the brain sets behind Edge Theory. Now, in addition to Juice Plus, what Edge Theory has done, and what Joe has done, has gotten some clients like the Mayo Clinic. How about Match.com? All of you probably using Match.com, I'm sure. And Neiman Marcus, Viking Range, and how about Travelocity? You've seen Travelocity a lot as far as advertising. NFL teams. I could go on and on and on. Joe at one time owned a company called Music Force and Light Source, and that was a venture with a guy named Mark Cuban, another billionaire. And they sold that company to Gaylord Entertainment, which was a public company, and they sold that company for $30 million. Listen, these are the people that we want to get associated with. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, that's exciting. So to get started right now, we're going to go to the guy that kind of takes care of all of us. He's the guy that puts all the T, crosses the T's, dots the I's. He's our teacher. He's our professor. And it's James, and we can't see him tonight. Something wrong with his camera. But James, I want to bring on James because the first thing we want to do is, James, we want to give away that Apple Watch. Who's the winner?
Let's do it. So through a random drawing for the Keeppunching team, our next winner for the Apple Watch is Jim Gonsolin, the one and only.
The noisy guy.
The noisy guy.
The noisy guy.
Hey, thank you very much. And by the way, I don't even have a TV. It can't be me.
So, okay. So James is, oh man, I didn't mute him out. I unmuted the wrong James. But anyway, I can hear you. So how about that, James Gonsolin?
I'm excited, guys. Thank you, James. I appreciate it. And Joe, I appreciate it very much.
Yeah. How do you do it?
I don't have an Apple Watch yet. I want one.
Hey, that's
well,
all right.
We're going to work on that. We're going to work on that.
Lifetime coaching. We got a deal.
That's right.
We're going to work on getting you one. So now I'm just going to turn it right over to Joe. Take it away, Joe.
All right, I'm going to share my screen. Good deal. All right, so tonight I got a deck we're going to go through. We're going to just go through this presentation. It's very well thought out. Carrie and I met in person yesterday for 5 hours. It was a great meeting. A lot's been put into this with Mickey and Carrie, and tonight's one of 8 courses just with the first semester, which we're super excited about. And also, after I get through, we're going to make a huge announcement that no one at no Juice Plus distributors heard yet that I'm super excited about. So I want James going to come back on after we go through this course tonight, and he'll make that announcement and also show a couple updates, which are super cool. So tonight we're on chapter 1 of class 1, session 1 about Facebook content. And we want to talk about Facebook content and branding. What I want to, here on the right side of your screen, I think we are going to record this, correct? We are recording it. So, but I think when you take these notes, think about on the right, everything we're going to do in these 8 classes going forward, and then well beyond that, is going to be always around these pillars: education, content, branding, audience, conversation. And so when you think about that, tonight's Facebook, we're going to talk about Facebook a couple weeks in a row. And let's start with, just real quickly before I jump into content, education. Facebook is a social platform. It is about what am I doing, right? Whereas Twitter is a conversation platform, meaning what am I thinking? And then of course, Instagram or Pinterest is what I like. So what am I doing? Facebook. What do I think and what am I thinking about? Twitter. And then of course, what do I like? Instagram. And that's what we got to think about, these different graphs when we talk about content. So tonight we're going to talk about content around Facebook. Okay.
Joe, I don't think your screen's shared yet. I just see you. I don't see you.
Yeah, you haven't shared your screen yet.
Sorry. Is that better?
Yep.
Okay, good. All right. So on the right, just to recap, we're going to talk about these 5 pillars every time we talk. And tonight we're around content and branding around Facebook. So this is class 1, and we're going to always come back to these, and especially focused on tonight content, but it's going to be different talking about content tonight on Facebook than if we talk about content on Twitter, right? Because on Facebook, it's people that primarily, or they're clients that you're nurturing, and you're going to talk more about what you're doing to use engagement. So, I want to step back and think that I talk about all over, whether I'm talking in Beijing to New York. I was just at the Ad Club in New York talking about this. We live in a conversational economy, right? It's no longer a transactional, economy. It's a conversational economy. And everything that we do at Edge Theory, whether we're working with Mayo Clinic or Juice Plus or whoever, it's about, that conversation. And as y'all have heard me say, it's either your greatest asset or it's your greatest liability. It's just one of the two. And so think about, we're in this conversational economy and we have to be in it every single day. So of course, while we built Soundboard, we're living in a different era forget being politically, what side you're on. We live in a different era. This guy won the election because he owned the media. He owned the conversation. And we now live in a crazy world where, 65%, 2/3 of all Americans are on social media every day, right? And so let that sink in. Are you thinking about this 2/3 of your day, right? Of course, we built Soundboard to help with time, but 2/3 of all adults are now. That's up from 7% in 2007. These are significant. And again, I think we're just beginning to see, it's going to explode even more. Look at what we have in social media users, 2.3 billion in 2016. That was only 970 million in 2010. So we live in a different era. And you have to think differently to participate in this era, whether we like it or not. We got to be out there. And that's why I always talk about when we first met the first time we talked about this class last year. It's about jumping in. Jump in. Don't wait. And because we live in a different era, if we think about it, your customers and your future prospect, your future customers, they expect you to be a part of the conversations they're having, right? They are no longer this world of waiting for someone to come find me. It's over. It's over. So how do we go find people? And so customers, whether they're young or old, middle-aged, whatever, they expect you to talk and meet them where they are. They expect you to talk in their geography, talk about, their language, their lifestyle, their interests. So I really want to encourage y'all, when we talk about content, you got to think about, who is my customer? I might be, someone who does a lot with young, of course, the millennial customer. It might be the middle-aged customer. It might be divorced people. It might be whatever. Just anything you can think about. Who are your customers? Who are you good at selling at? And you got to think when you create content. And we've done a lot of this for you, the Soundboard. But how do you create content to meet them where they are? That's the world we live in. It's no longer sitting back and waiting for people to come find you because you're smart or because you're successful. You got to, and no matter how big you get, you got to keep finding. So therefore, I always say the promised land, the Holy Grail, it is to own the conversation, right? To have and own the conversation. You got to go find those not yet looking for you. And you do that through owning the conversation. You have to own the conversation. And what I mean by that is you have to, if you're in Dallas, Texas, you gotta be a part of the Dallas conversation. If you're going after young people, you got to be a part of maybe the dating conversation. Be healthy and look good before you go on your date. Whatever it might be, you got to be a part of those conversations. And that's what, at Edge Theory, we do every day, is creating content. So end of the day, content, it's not king, it's gold, right? And I always say that, Eric Schmidt, who's chairman of Google, always says that content is the king. And therefore, context is his queen. And I think when you look at content as gold, it's all about having something to say, consistently, relevant, and engaging. And the most important thing that I've heard just today talking to somebody, it's got to be compliant. And you can't, and a lot of times what I'm so excited about with the Daigles and Keeppunching and others we talk to, it's about understanding what to say, because a lot of people in your teams are going to be out there doing this regardless. So it's important as you coach them, and as we hopefully they can also Soundboard can help them. It's about saying the right thing and obviously not getting into trouble. So everybody's going to do it. So it's about getting that consistent message, that relevant message. Edge Theory, real quickly, we talked about this. We're simply a technology company. People have asked a lot lately, what do we do? Well, obviously, Juice Plus, and you guys aren't our only customers. We have lots of customers around the world, but we're a technology company, and we're helping brands as big as Mayo Clinic down to a small, medium business create, distribute, and analyze content. And we have people like James Ketchum. He runs that department. We're a technology company, but we have conversation specialists, conversation analysts that are out there every day producing good content for you guys on the Healthy Living Soundboard, right? So, what excites me about the Daigles, and Carrie and Mickey told me this, the reason they got they took interest and started talking to me more was because we do this education. So, we're teaming up with Keeppunching on this program solely so we can educate and provide content. as I talk about content, one of the things that I did recently, speaking at Stanford out in California, it's all about how do you intersect. And I say this a lot, and I'll say it a lot through this training. It's about conversation intersections, right? Talking about what's relevant to your office. And so in this example, we'll talk tonight about, and we're going to, make some announcements, and I want to go to Q&A because I think those are very effective. We're going to have Q&A on every one of these sessions. But let's take this young lady in front of us, right? She's your target, okay? She is your prospect. You don't know her yet, right? You do not know her yet, but you got to think, okay, you know what? I do a good job selling to people who are in Dallas. They like traveling. I like traveling. I love fitness. I'm a 32-year-old, et cetera. So I'll always think about what are the interest demographics, geography and lifestyle. Those are things to think about. I always talk about conversation maps. But just write down your passion planner, write down your piece of paper. Who are my customers, right? In Memphis and Oklahoma City, and begin to just write down, what are some profiles about them, right? And that's going to then tell you what you want to go talk about, right? If you, so it all goes back to conversation intersections that we're going to talk about. Obviously, when we talk about Facebook, which is what we're talking about tonight, it's about using keywords and sharing links and sharing articles that make your friends engage with that content, whether they be your friends or someone that hopefully is a friend of a friend who can become a prospect and become a customer after you have a conversation with them. So the obvious is you want to have conversations that stay around and overlap, but more towards the healthy living conversation as opposed to, of course, the Juice Plus conversation. That will come. I mean, gosh, I told Carrie this yesterday. I've been saying 12 years, but my wife and I remember we've actually been using the product for a lot longer than 12 years, but I know the product. The product sells itself, right? I got 3 healthy kids, so it's more about, the product is you, as Carrie says. The product is healthy living. So the fact is, there's a lot many people out there talking about healthy living, right? Than looking for Juice Plus. So how do we go in the simplest form? How do we go own the healthy living conversation? So we talk about content, we talk about branding yourself. You got to think of yourself, each one of you, in your own right, you're a thought leader, right? And you're an authority in whatever you might be good at, and people look to you. That's how you sell, because they respect you. So what do you want to be an expert in? That's what I challenge you. Well, what is your expertise? And then share articles, photos, and videos that inspire you. Again, we have lots of this to supplement on a soundboard, but post regularly. This is all in the context of Facebook, and have something smart to say. Don't be too opinionated. That's the worst thing you can do, right? Keep the conversation open, and diversify that content, right? So you can reach your wider audience. And the last thing is stay within the ditch. Like my dad always said, keep it between the ditches. Make sure you don't say the wrong thing. And I think a lot of these things I've heard, I've been watching the different things on the Shred 10 and stuff. We talk a lot about what is compliant. Well, everything we're giving you, is compliant. We're not making claims. You don't ever want to make claims. That's, so all that stuff is very compliant, both in what we're going to teach you and what we have in the soundboard. So as relates to thought leadership, clearly, I look every day because I follow Juice Plus. There's incredible, content that comes through on their page that I like, and I typically like almost everything I see on Juice Plus that comes through my Facebook feed. But I want us to focus, and that's good. Clearly, you want to go like what Juice Plus says. Clearly, you want to comment on that and share that. But we don't want to just passively engage in relevant conversations only. Of course, you want to engage with that content. And in this case, let's role play. I'm Natalie, okay? And I'm Natalie, a Juice Plus distributor. Clearly, Natalie follows the Juice Plus company or likes the Juice Plus company on Facebook, and clearly wants to repost and share that content. But we want to go way beyond that, right? And we want to get into how do you make yourself famous? How do you make yourself a thought leader? You guys already are, but leaders, not followers. And you're either one of the two. Leaders start conversations, right? And your voice is authentic and comes across way more personal when you act that way. So in the case of this example, Natalie, this is happens to be, I think, something maybe came out of the soundboard today, I believe, or yesterday. A great article. Natalie shares that article from Soundboard. She grabs a suggested text, and this is a great article on the 5 health-focused resolutions to make in 2017. Obviously, a good article from Get Fit Girl. The suggested content, right, that she put on top of that post, very important. Don't share articles without putting something on top of them. And again, we suggest multiple things for you to say. You can write your own. You can edit it. You can, of course, put a hashtag. But she chose, up top here, these 5 resolutions are a great way to kick off a happier, healthier new year. I would love to help you reach your goals this year, okay? So she took something from the soundboard. She added some suggested copy, and then she put her own little flavor to it, right? Very authentic. It makes her look like a thought leader, which she is, about helping people with 2017. And all of a sudden, you know what? She becomes famous. And that's why you got to think of yourself. You're a personality. You're a brand. You are the product, as Carrie says. So when people see your post, then they see that you're the expert, you know. And it's not the company. They see you as the expert, right? And this is how you build your reputation, with consistent things that are authentic. So in this, let's just role play. In this scenario, Natalie, the Juice Plus distributor, she posts this great piece of content. Hopefully she's doing it daily. And look what happened. Her friend John, what does he say, right? He engages. So I'm going to walk through how this all works. He says, I am so ready for getting fit in 2017. So now all of a sudden, you're the thought leader. You've posted this content, right? And John, who is either a friend or a customer, could be, makes an engagement, right? Well, John has friends, right, that might not be your friends on Facebook, right? And so once you post that, and again, James will talk about this a little bit next time, you can obviously post, as you know, to either just your friends, you can post to certain select people, or to the public. A lot of times, you know, if it's not something to, you know, many times I post to the public because I want to get my stuff beyond my friends on Facebook. So that's something, of course, you just know you can set. But this, in the case of Natalie, she posts this content. John makes a comment, I'm so ready for getting fit in 2017. She's now begun a conversation. So let's talk about how we then go, actually, that then builds business. Well, how do you reach Diane? You don't know Diane. She's not your friend, right? But she's a mom, and she's the health nut. And she's not looking for you, right? So how do we find her? Well, number one, we do what we just did, right? We post good content. Content you get from Facebook or from Soundboard, content you get on your own, content you share from different people. Get good content. It is what begins the conversation. So you post that original content. In this case, Natalie took something from Soundboard, but then she added a nice little sentence to it. I would love to help you, okay? Well, guess what? Number two, friends engage with it. In this case, John, her friend, engaged and said, I'm so ready for getting fit in 2017. But how do we get Diane, right? Because we want to grow beyond John. Well, guess what? Diane is a friend of John's, right? So if John comments on your Facebook, post, and he allows and puts it on his feed, lo and behold, now Natalie, your feed, if I'm Natalie, Natalie's post is now on John's feed, which, guess what? Diane is his friend, right? And so instantly, now Diane, she makes a comment, right? And it says, I would love to start living healthy, but where do I start? Okay? That's when you come back in, and I think that y'all have talked about this. I've heard this from Carrie and others. There's lots of things you can say. The quickest thing you can do, right, is to bring it personal. Excuse me. So now Natalie, through John, through his friend Diane, she's now got a prospect, and she says, I will personally message you now, or PM you. I think it was you can say. So that's how you want to think about this. How do you create good content? Number one. Two, make it authentic so people engage with it. Because Facebook, you can definitely find people not looking for you. And then, of course, we want John, your friends to see it. But it's so important, and I see this not done very well with many people. Soon, you need to be looking at Facebook you know, and don't, it's like the 4-hour work week, you know. I'm a big believer. I do not check email very often because it doesn't make me productive. So I have certain ways to look at emails if it comes from a Jim Barksdale or something. But just like with Facebook, get some set times. I think I've seen this on Shred 10, morning, noon, night, whatever y'all come up with on this Shred 10 stuff. Come up with some set times, but dadgummit, when someone engages with you, respond quickly. The worst thing you can do is wait 24 hours, right? Because then you're not really an authority. You know, of course, you got to sleep, but I would really make sure you come up, you know, establish some good cadence that, you know, you're looking not every hour, but make it 3 times a day, 2 times a day. I'd really, you know, put that on your schedule, put that on your passion planner, you know, X times a day. It might be at 6 a.m., it might be at 6 p.m., but every day, make sure you're responding to people as soon as they respond to you. That's so important. I put this slide in here because I want to show the art of conversation. I speak on, you know, how to create conversation. This is just a very high level of how we do it at Soundboard and all the work that goes into content. But again, I go back to conversation share and what I call conversational keywords. Okay, when you think of the art of conversation and you look at, you know, a message, I look at that. My crazy mind is. That's to me, it's DNA, just like the human anatomy. There's the anatomy of language, okay? And of course, we have lots of technology that studies that to know what to give you on Soundboard. But look at this, look at here. You know, there's tons and tons of words that you're going to write down as you begin to think about what can I leverage today in the conversation. Clearly, New Year's, right? But what else can I leverage that I'm a thought leader on? You know, I really believe in gluten-free, okay? Well, then that's one of your words. But write those down. Those are your words that you want to constantly think about content. You know, just write down 5 words this week that you're going to use in creating conversation. For us at Edge Theory and Soundboard, it's a lot of complexity behind our content creation technology. But these, for example, there's the 3 words here. And be smart. Because when you post publicly, let's just be smart of what conversations can you own, right? And be smart. New Year's resolutions. Sorry to tell you, you can't own that conversation. It's huge. But you can talk about it with other conversations, right? So New Year's resolution is this humongous conversation everybody started talking about, every fitness instructor in the world, every healthy living company, everybody's talking about it. You want to intersect with that in content creation, but you want to, you know, be smart about other conversations that aren't so big that you can have, you know, you can talk about. So New Year's resolution is a big conversation. Living healthy is not quite as big, but still big. And then, of course, more specific conversation is gluten-free recipes. That's something you're into, right? Well, if you put them all together, right, if you just said New Year's resolutions in a piece of content, it's going to get lost in the public world of Facebook and Twitter, right? But if you combine it with living healthy and you combine it with gluten-free recipes, voila, you have a beautiful piece of content, right? Looking for 2017 New Year's resolutions to start living healthy, try these gluten-free recipes and you might be amazed how great they taste. And link to a great article. Well, now you're beginning to intersect, think intersections, intersect with people around people thinking about New Year's resolutions. And guess what? There's more people thinking about New Year's resolutions than certainly thinking about Juice Plus. There's more people thinking about living healthy than thinking about Juice Plus. And there's a lot more people thinking about gluten-free than looking for Juice Plus. Those are literally the conduit intersections that how you find people, right? And so think about that. That's what tonight I wanted to go over. Carrie, I wanted to jump into hand it over to James first, if that's okay, to go through, jump into the actual Soundboard to make this big announcement that no one, y'all are the first to hear about. And then I think we take Q&A and we'll come back on. I'll come back on. Does that sound good, Carrie?
That sounds good. You just want to take your screen sharing off in the event that James needs to come on and show some information.
I lost it. Hang on. There we go. All right, James, take it away.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to share my iPhone screen here. So it takes about 2 more steps here to do that real quick. So just give me half a second. we're going to show you some new features that we've got rolled out, and I want to show you how they work on the iPhone. So here we go. Okay, so what we're going to do is take a quick look at how some new functionality we've rolled out to the soundboard. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on Safari here, and I've already got I'm logged into the soundboard. And so a couple of things I wanted to show you. We've had a number of you all contact us and say, hey, I really like what, the articles that you're posting, but I've got an idea for an article that I'd like to see, or the type of content that I'd like to see. So I'm going to click on the icon at the top right here. We call it the hamburger, these 3 black lines. We now have a submit an article feature. And so if there's something that you really like, that you would like for us to post, then just submit it here. So you just copy and paste the web address into the article, or into the field here. And if you want to tell us a little bit of something about it, you can. You don't have to. And then as you start submitting articles, it'll tell you what you've submitted. So if you hadn't done it in a while, you can. It'll keep track of it, and you won't submit something twice. So that's a pretty cool little feature there. Another feature that we've rolled out is search. So you see at the top left here, we now have the search icon. So I'm going to pop that open, and I'm going to look for an image. So let's go ahead and search for an image, and that's going to bring up these images that are quite easy to share across various platforms. So another new feature that we've rolled out. Go ahead.
Type in, for example, besides image, type in, for example, children.
All right, how about this? Everybody's always wanting information about fruits and vegetables. So you got that. You got, we do some articles about children's health. So you don't have to type the whole word. You just look for the best match. We got lots of stuff.
Because there's there's so much content here now. This is the best way. It's also paginated. So again, what is your conversation? What do you feel like today? What do you think your prospects want to hear about? What is your specialty? Type it in, and instantly you get all the articles for that topic. It's beautiful. I love search.
Yeah, it's really cool. Okay, so I'm going to go back here, and I do want to pull up an image and show you another feature that we've got here. So we now have the ability to share directly to Pinterest. So if you are a Pinterest user, that is now one of the buttons here. So you do like this, and we've got, whatever boards that you have. This is, my wife uses this sometimes. So we've got lots of things here, but I'll just throw this in. She doesn't really have like a healthy living one, but we'll just pretend for a minute and throw it on there, and then it's saved just like that. So works pretty straightforward, especially if you have the app turned on your phone. Now here's the other really cool thing. When we talk about social media, you might have heard this term before, but we talk about, in the industry, we talk about light social media and dark social media. And those have negative connotations, but I want you to try to remove the negative connotation and think of it in terms of light social media is things that are easy to see what's going on and easy to track. So for instance, Twitter, notifications, that is light social media in that you can easily tell at a glance what is happening to your messages when you look at notifications. Dark social media is harder to track the actions on, okay? And so think of a text message. Texting is social media, okay? It's a way to communicate. It's just one-on-one, okay? It's just another platform for communication one-on-one. And so from our perspective at Edge Theory, we treat texting just like another way to communicate, to prospect, to get in touch with people. Some of you all may have received a text from us about the soundboard over the past couple of weeks. It's just another good way to get in touch with people. And so we now have the ability, and this is the feature that we've just rolled out here in the last hour or two. If you are on your mobile device and you find an article that you're interested in sharing with an individual, you can now text an article to somebody with this green text button here on the bottom right. So it's going to work, you know, texting, especially on smartphones. So I'm going to text this to Joe right here. And I'm going to send that. And what's going to happen is it's going to make a nice looking OG tag. All right. And so what happens, you know, you got to give it a moment to render. We'll come back to that here. But the way that texting, you know, now works and iMessage now works is it's very similar to a Facebook style messaging thing in that it does give you a nice looking image with the link. Okay, so let's try this.
Great.
Yep, and so Joe just got that good looking image. I'll send him another one here. And it also is going to copy that suggested text. So you'll notice that, so there's the last one. And you'll notice the I love fruit salad in the body of the text is actually the suggested text from the original message. So you can see that that first message, it broke it down. Well, that one went pretty quickly. That's nice. So it broke it down into the message itself and then the link. And then the second one there, you know, it's a pretty cool way to just with a few clicks, again, be that thought leader to people, be authentic, share content that you do care about that is meaningful to you and to your audience. And, you know, what an easy way to make a connection and to be thoughtful to people. Go ahead, Joe. You got something else?
You know, go back to the image. I mean,
Okay.
where you showed my text. Yeah. I mean, you know, the thing that I thought about this, and we've had a lot of people ask us about this, and going back to, you know, what is social media? Social media is being social on digital media. And we all get caught up in Facebook and Twitter, which are huge and we're going to leverage and learn a lot about. But I've been watching and learning this business with the Daigles, Mickey, Janet Miller, and I see time and time again, and this is our job as the soundboard team. It's our job to watch y'all's business and understand how to help your business. So we're not going to stop with what we got on the soundboard. It's going to grow more, but this is huge. This is about, you know, using content to go use Facebook, Twitter. Absolutely got to do it. But now we have this tool. It's a retention tool. I mean, think about this. I mean, I've seen some of y'all do this. It's all about just being a thought leader. Well, sometimes you want to be a thought leader on Twitter and post the 3 reasons to grow your own vegetables instead of living. But when you send it to your girlfriend or your guy friend or whoever, this is just powerful. I mean, everybody should be using Soundboard morning, noon, and night to send text to select VIP customers. I mean, think about this. I mean, I think we just obviously told Carrie about this after Carrie and I talked about it yesterday, but this is huge. I mean, the ability to be able to take any of this great content and one-on-one send it to a person to make them feel special and show that, hey, I'm just thinking about you. I know you care about children's health, Becky. You know, Becky's a customer of yours. Just want to share this with you. That makes Becky stay with you, right? It's huge.
So yeah, some pretty cool features there we've rolled out in the last week or so, and many more to come as we continue to grow and build this out.
Well, what I'm really excited about is I actually had an opportunity from meeting with Joe to understand and see firsthand the staff and the quality of people at Work Veg Theory. And they're not just sitting there in Mississippi. I mean, there's some in California and other areas that are working Veg Theory that are putting this together. So we just kind of start having conversation with Joe and with James, and Tex came into the conversation. This soundboard is continuing to grow, and it's making everyone able to be able to, if you don't know what to say and you're a brand new person that's just starting your business, can you imagine that brand new person not knowing what to say has all the content they need, they want to be able to grow their business right away? And I'm going to guarantee you, many of them and the majority of them are on social media. And many of them are going to be better versed maybe on Pinterest than you are, maybe on better on Twitter than you are, maybe better on Facebook or Instagram, or maybe they're better at texting. So you don't want to prejudge what your people know today, because how many of you have had your children or your grandchildren walk into a room and show you how to use your smartphone or how to find something on your computer? It's being done every day. So don't prejudge people you're bringing in. This is going, if you're a worker and you're a thought leader, like Joe said, and also a thought leader like James talks about, then you're going to be in a position to grow your business quicker than anyone else. We are fortunate that we're able to put this together. We have an 8-week mentoring course right now. This is week 1. And look what's happened already in week 1. Now we have soundboard for text. Now we have soundboard for Pinterest, and it's only going to grow. And who's getting the information first? You are. Nobody else even knows about this right now. I mean, you're getting all this right now. I mean, it's incredible. But I mean, we've been very fortunate. And I mean, I'm wearing them out. I got to admit, I'm really beating these guys to death, but that's okay. I mean, they've kind of fallen in the trap, but now they got to do an 8-week course, and that's how we're kicking this thing off. And it's not costing you anything. Listen, it's all covered. And
one thing, Kerry, but one thing, that I want to make sure that, and I think we said this before, because Kerry is working me hard here, and I'm excited about it, but in no way are the Daigles getting compensated. I don't know if that's ever come across anybody's mind. No way are they getting compensated. This is, this obviously is a way that they're excited. Kerry and Mickey took interest in me day one when I got off the stage in Sacramento. And, I'm so excited. Of course, we obviously want to grow the business, but I think it's so exciting to work with you guys. And again, it's been a crazy good day today. I really think, get on there and use this texting all the time. Get on there and use all the content. The more I've learned and talking to Janet, I know you're on the phone, Janet, but listening to Janet, and I've tried to understand her business as well. Janet, I know maybe you can speak to this. Janet sends text to customers all the time. Well, now Janet, or any of y'all, I was thinking about Janet a lot when we rolled this out and talking to Kerry yesterday. How cool is that? I just love it. I love it. So
I want to share one more thing. Can I share one more thing real quick, Kerry?
Sure.
This is an announcement that we made probably a week before New Year's, but I know holidays came and went, but I wanted to make sure that everybody knew how to do this. I'm not going to walk through all the steps right now, but Soundboard also works with Instagram. I want you to be aware of where to find out how to do this, because again, I'm not going to do all the steps here, but in the Help Center, I'm logged into the Soundboard. I'm going to go to the Help Center here. There's a short video on one of the chapters now is using Soundboard with other platforms, or one of the sections. And there's an article here that will walk you through how to use Instagram with the images that are provided. So I wanted to make sure that's not a brand new update, but it did kind of get lost in the holiday shuffle. So be aware that that's available as well.
And this is an educational process. It's up to you. Listen, anyone, and we have testimonials all over the world, can build $1 million sales businesses with your trust. Am I going to guarantee that everyone on this Zoom call is going to develop $1 million sales business? No, but many of you will. Many of you will develop multi-million-dollar sales businesses. And the key is that we can now educate you right there in the convenience of your home to make that happen. But then you've got to educate yourself by going on Soundboard, searching, finding out, man, this system that we've got set up with Edge Theory is unbelievable. And I think you guys are paying $5, $10, or $15 a month. I don't even know what I'm paying. That's the price of a salad. Come on. This is unbelievable. So if you don't have all of your team involved right now, you're making a big mistake. And don't make a decision as I don't know if they're going to be interested. You get in touch with them and you let them know two things. Number one, we need to get the Zoom app. It's free of charge because we can communicate with you live and in person, get to see you, get to go in your living room, get to meet you. Number two, you need to get on the soundboard if you want to build a business. And once you do, everything changes. You will have people that are growing much quicker than normal. I'm not at liberty to throw out any names right now, but I mean, just from texting, we had a lady that made virtual franchise in 9 days. You know, so that's all I'm gonna tell you. This thing is working. It's working. And I'm gonna take it off recording right now so that you guys can ask any questions you want. Send it to me on chat and I'll be happy to open it up.